We have long awaited Odell Beckham Jr.'s introductory press conference with Baltimore, but wait no longer. It was this morning. Now, Lamar Jackson, he was not in the building, and his future with the team is still in question. So OBJ knew he would be asked, and asked he was. Shout out to Odell. I think that's Odell's taking cover for Lamar Jackson. I think that's Odell just being a homeboy to Lamar, because truth be told, Odell, outside of the $15 million, and the $15 million, truth be told, it's also enough besides Lamar Jackson being there. But outside of the $15 million, Odell's in Baltimore for Lamar Jackson. Sure. That is why he is in Baltimore. If Odell wanted to go somewhere where he had a better chance of security and knowing who's going to be around, he would have signed with Los Angeles last year. Like, Los Angeles made him a contract offer, to my knowledge, after he tore his ACL, but Odell was like, the money's too low. So if Odell just wanted to play football, wanted to be in a familiar city, wanted to be with a familiar quarterback, he would have went to Los Angeles. But he wanted to play with Lamar, and he wanted to get paid big money. So, Slick, I read into that as to say Odell's covering for his boy, but he also expects Lamar to be there.
Yes, I can't feel, but the momentum is moving in one direction only. And this is where, with the press conference, with all the excitement over Odell being there, nobody's thinking about, you know what, Lamar needs to get paid, and he needs to get paid what he wants or what he deserves or any of that. It's like, no, we want to see Odell and Lamar Jackson play. We want to see Lamar in as soon as possible to see them maximize what they're capable of being. Everybody's imagination is fired now about that possibility. And so how's it going to play at this point if Lamar is like, I'm not getting what I want, and I'm not showing up. This is the huge disadvantage in not getting ahead of the situation, because now everything is, people are going to look at the Ravens and Odell and say, Lamar, come on, get in there. We want to see you play.
Joy, what was your reaction?
I mean, that's what I expected. I assumed that they had spoken, and that they're two professional adults, friends who understand the business. There's no assurances for anything. Now, I do think that there was more of a positive nature of the conversation, that he was going to be there in order for him to sign there. But Odell is still being compensated for his time either way. And Odell's a grown man who has moved around on teams. So I don't think there will be any hard feelings. And honestly, who cares if there are? This is business. Lamar hasn't been paid yet. I'm with you. I do think that people are going to be mad at Lamar more now if he doesn't show up. And if I was Lamar, I would not care. I don't care. Be mad. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sorry. I need to be paid. Now, again, I think that this should have happened years ago. Both the Ravens should have taken care of this years ago, and I think Lamar should have done the bad guy thing years ago, and he would have been paid and he wouldn't be in this situation. But we're too far in now. Like, Lamar has to get a contract done, and if he pisses people off on the way there, so be it.
I think, and I don't want to say money is the sole motivator, but this perfectly explains the contract Odell got. If he's going to go somewhere where he doesn't know a good quarterback's going to be there, he's going to be well compensated for it. And the Ravens need a receiver so badly that they have to overpay to get somebody good while knowing that their quarterback's not under contract. So the Ravens probably spend more than they would prefer. Odell, he signed it as far as I'm aware, so that's $15 million in the bank. It's a lot easier to tolerate Lamar not showing up, knowing that. And so, I would prefer he's here. I think he'll be here, but if not, that's a nice little nest egg to fall back on.
I do think the temperament around Lamar Jackson will change completely if he doesn't go back to Baltimore, or if he even gives too much, if he drags his feet too much rather en route to going back to Baltimore. Because the Ravens now, at this point in time, have done everything outside of give Lamar an extra amount of money that they're unwilling to do for Lamar Jackson. So if you are a fan, you said you wanted a new offensive coordinator. They got that. If you're a fan, you said you wanted more receivers. They got that. So at this point, if Lamar's still like, I'm not going back, eventually, and Dave, you can attest to this because you've seen it play out covering the Cowboys, the tolerance will run out. The fans' tolerance will run out, and they're just going to be like, hey, Lamar, why aren't you showing up? And that's the question, Dave. How do you think Lamar will handle that?
It's tough. It's hard to win the battle for public opinion. And it sucks, because why would you side with a billionaire over a millionaire? I've never understood that in my life. But at the end of the day, the player is the reason why you don't get to see your favorite team succeed, right? So he takes the brunt of this. It's going to put pressure on him, but Lamar Jackson, like, look out for yourself, my guy. Maybe you owe a debt to entertain the fans, but that doesn't pay your bills. I think you got to keep that in mind. It's tough to win the battle for public opinion, but that does not let the Ravens off the hook for making a fair offer either.
Well, let's transition, speaking of Lamar Jackson, because there was a quote I heard earlier today, really a quote heard around the world, from Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger, we know he's going to walk into the Hall of Fame in about 4 years now, but he said, when breaking down the addition of Odell Beckham Jr. and how it could benefit Lamar, he actually didn't hold back. Dave, you got kind of emotional when this came up earlier in the pre-show meeting. You have any issue with Big Ben's comment?
It's insulting. It's incredibly insulting.
Why?
Because thanks to my good friend Bill Barnwell, who does amazing work, I know Lamar Jackson has a better passer rating from inside the pocket than Ben Roethlisberger did. 97.9 versus 94.2.
So you don't like the messenger? Because he didn't say you fear him more than me or less than me. Like,
no.
What's that comp have to do with anything?
To say that, it implies that Lamar Jackson cannot win as a passer. It's fine if you want to word it differently and say Lamar Jackson's dynamic ability as a runner has to be line one when you are figuring out how to defend him. That's fine. But to say that he can't hang back in the pocket and pick you apart is blatantly untrue. The stats are the stats. And I bring it up because a guy that wasn't as good at it as Lamar has been is saying that he can't do it. I can pull up 24 clips of Lamar Jackson making great plays from the pocket. Is he the best in the league at it? Probably not. But to suggest that he can't do it, I think it's insulting to a guy that's been a unanimous MVP. And I don't think that's controversial.
Joy, clearly you seem irritated.
I'm going to try really hard not to curse. I'm really tired of this conversation around Lamar Jackson. Can we please, I'm begging you, not even on behalf of Lamar Jackson, just like as a people, let's come together and let's throw these takes in the bonfire and cleanse ourselves of this stupid conversation. What the hell do you want? What do you want? It's like asking a woman what she wants to eat for dinner. What do you want? And I don't know. I don't have the answer for this. What do you want? We want mobile quarterbacks, right? Like, you can't draft a pocket passer anymore. You can't do it. If a guy is in the draft and he is a statue in the pocket, he will drop in the draft. It will be a negative thing. Correct.
Yes.
Draft guy, negative.
Gotta make those reads.
But if he runs and he's elite at it, then he can't throw. Even if the numbers say something different.
There's a lot of them on those cards.
The reason that this frustrates me, Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer. We would not classify him as a runner, certainly not in the back half of his career, correct? He is a Hall of Famer for throwing the ball, and Lamar Jackson has what? One more time for the people. Dave, please, the numbers.
A better passer rating from the pocket, 97.9 versus 94.2.
I need answers. Can we please just throw it in the bonfire together, just drop them in, let the smoke rise. Please. Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback. He is the best running quarterback we've ever seen in the history of the sport, and he can also throw the ball. If your issue is, well, he runs first, you have to set up the defense to compensate for his running. Well, yeah, of course you do. So that inflates his passing numbers? Only if he can pass the ball. If he can't pass the ball, then it doesn't matter. Then he's just a guy that just runs. Who does that? We have an example of this in the NFL right now. Great runner. Justin Fields cannot pass the ball, but he can run.
That's true.
He can run. Please stop it. It's driving me insane. I can't.
I didn't say this, Joy.
Please. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating to me. The messenger is not the problem. It's that people view Ben Roethlisberger as a pocket passer, as someone who could put dimes anywhere on the field, a huge man who didn't go down even if defenders were pulling on him.
I was going to say, the thing that
had better receivers, by the way. No one would argue that.
When I think of Ben, I think of extending plays outside of the pocket, like shrugging pass rushers off and making plays.
But he certainly wasn't running up field.
No.
Okay?
No.
So he is thought of that way. He's thought of as an elite passer.
Sure. Ben
Roethlisberger. And Lamar Jackson has a better pocket. I just need you to explain to me, why do these numbers not back up this idea? And it bothers me particularly about Lamar Jackson. Sorry, you're going to have to suffer me a little bit longer. Lamar has had to answer this since the beginning of his career. Like, in college, is he a tight end? Is he a wide receiver? How's he going to look in the NFL? He looks fine. He won an MVP. So I just need you guys to explain to me. I'm done. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I'm a doctor. But I feel like someone needs to explain to me why it is a problem when they get in the NFL that you're a great runner. Did this with Jalen Hurts. Did it with Jalen Hurts. No,
you know
did it with Jalen Hurts.
You know
what did that kicker have to say? What did the kicker have to say this year about Jalen Hurts?
If you make him pass, you're going to win, or no, not even you're going to win. You're going to have a good game.
Good game.
You're going to have a great game.
I can't understand it. Maybe it's me. My brain doesn't work that way. I just read the numbers, they make sense, and then I watch the games, and then everyone tells me that it's a bad thing, and I can't get it. I can't get there.
I said it before, and in a sense, Joy Taylor is the best Joy Taylor.
Thank you.
That was entertaining. How are you guys feeling?
I blacked out a little bit, so I apologize.
I'm annoyed, but
It's not even just Lamar, it's the overall conversation.
Yeah, look, there are things that Big Ben said. Let's take away the feelings about Big Ben and that. And I hear you on the statistics. There are times where if I'm looking at Lamar Jackson, where he is most vulnerable is sitting in the pocket and trying to beat you that way. Now, Big Ben used the word fear twice, and that's where he goes overboard because there are plenty of reasons to fear Lamar Jackson when you play him. So you're going to try to find the one thing and say, you do not fear him in this situation. I can't isolate just him being in the pocket and say, well, you don't fear him if he only does this, because he's not only going to do that. That's not the only option that he has. So it's kind of a skewed way to be able to critique Lamar. But if you take away the word usage, I understand what he's saying. It's just, if he had said he's not, if he's just sitting in the pocket, he's not going to pick you apart. I don't think we'd have as great of an issue with that as you don't fear him just sitting in the pocket and picking you apart.
like I said,
I agree.
If you said that's not if that's not the most dynamic part of his game, fine. But
The ugliest thing about the supermodel is her left toenail.
Yeah.
Pinky.
Correct. That in a nutshell is what it is. I mean, I think there is and I don't always like delineating, I think there's an athlete speak conversation, and then I think there is a fandom reception conversation. In a defensive meeting room, a defensive coordinator is going to say, keep Lamar in the pocket. He can't beat you from the pocket. And fans at home will be like, that's asinine. Lamar Jackson had 35 passing touchdowns. He can beat you from anywhere. But a defensive coordinator is going to say, this dude can't win from the pocket. Keep him in the pocket. That's what they're going to say. Ben Roethlisberger, I think athletes are hyperbolic when they speak. You don't fear Lamar Jackson from the pocket. I would fear Lamar Jackson just in totality. My issue with the comments aren't necessarily that they're inaccurate. My issue with the comments is what Joy just said in relation to the supermodel analogy is they're just meaningless, right? Like it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. Like everybody has a weakness,
right?
Yeah.
So what was the point in Ben Roethlisberger stating Lamar Jackson's weakness? Because the weakness doesn't actually play out as a detriment when Lamar Jackson plays ball. Had Ben Roethlisberger walked me to a line, well, you don't fear him from the pocket, and the fact of the matter is he's been injured the last 2 seasons. He's not going to be able to be a consistently dynamic runner. So because he hasn't proven himself to be that great of a pocket passer if he can't run, then why would you pay him long term? Then I would be like, I understand why you would say that. Bikini model or left pinky toe is, crooked, you might not want it to be in, open toe.
I mean, if you're a toe person, that might be a problem for you.
Then I would understand why you would say that.
For the rest of us, we can probably overlook it.
Correct. So I don't have an issue with what Ben said as much as what was the reason? What was the point in saying?
And how much, and I'll ask this to the three of you, how much do you think it's that Big Ben is simply not a quarterback that compares to Lamar Jackson? The way Lamar Jackson plays the game in totality is completely separate from the way that Big Ben played it. So there's not his view of the game and how a quarterback operates is dramatically different than the way Lamar Jackson plays.
We have numbers that say Lamar's better at playing it that way than Ben was.
It's less of that for me. What Acho said is right. That is how defenses prepare for Lamar Jackson, because you would be crazy not to prepare for Lamar Jackson's ability to run.
Right.
My overall issue with it is this constant diminishing of quarterbacks who are great at running, and we just ignore their passing numbers. If we just took out their rushing numbers, are they abysmal? They cannot throw the ball out? Then I can hear you. But that's not statistically accurate. So if you want to argue, okay, well, because defenses have to compensate for his running, then he does look better or whatever at passing the ball around, that's fine. And maybe he's not Patrick Mahomes, or maybe he's not Joe Burrow, or maybe he's not Justin Herbert, but he's this on the whole other side. Right. So where does it land you? It's more about the conversation that we have around running quarterbacks. It's very confusing to me because Jalen Hurts gets this. If Justin Fields develops a passing game, he will get this because he's already getting it. But pay attention to the numbers. Yes, one aids the other. That's why they draft these guys. Because if you have the ability to put the defense in a vulnerable position like that, where they don't have to worry about you running and can put everybody up as a pocket passer, that's more dangerous.
You was preaching, so
I just don't know. I don't
have nothing else to add to that. But I got a lot to add. Coming up is Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and the Suns. They are headed up against the Clippers in the Western Conference playoffs. But who in the world?
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.